My current gaming setup is not this one, but actually this one. I didn't have the space for a full-blown battle station, so I made do with what I had, aka a Husky Mobile tool cabinet. It's not too bad with the controller, but when it's keyboard and mouse time, it's a bit uncomfortable because I'm 6'4" or 64 inches tall and my knees get in the way. But still, it gets the job done. I've been gaming like this for months, and let's not forget about my luxury $15 gaming stool, Peak Comfort. And for the record, I don't game a whole lot. I usually squeeze in about 30 minutes to an hour at most per session. Also, my son uses the space too, and let's just say we both have our fair share of adjustments to make it work. But today, we're finally changing that. The plan is to revamp this side and give the gaming setup a proper home. Before we dive into the transformation, let me walk you through the current situation. This right here is my main workstation, where I do all of my editing, content planning, and everything else that comes with being a full-time creative. Over here is an IKEA wardrobe I've been using for storage. It's packed with stuff I don't use often, but also can't seem to let go of. And finally, my favorite IKEA shelf. I've had it for years and I still love the way it looks. The drawers are perfect for keeping all of my random stuff organized. However, I'm thinking about replacing it, but I'm not totally sold on that idea just yet. So we'll see. But in order to add a second setup, something had to go. I've been going back and forth for months trying to make it work without losing storage, but no matter how I arranged it, there just wasn't enough room. So the plan right now is to move either one or both of these units to a spare bedroom, which was also cluttered and chaotic, but I cleaned it up, made some space, and now it's officially the new storage zone. So let's get into it. So after taking out the wardrobe, I decided to leave the shelf in place for now, just to see how it looks alongside the new desk, which is actually the first piece of new furniture I'm bringing into this setup. Big shout out to Vernal for partnering with me again and sponsoring a portion of this video. I had the chance to work with them last year when I helped my sister and brother-in-law refresh their work from home setup, and I genuinely love the quality of their desk. If you haven't seen that video, I'll link it above. That project definitely sparked some ideas that I'll be bringing into this setup. Vernal offers a variety of desk styles and accessories, making it easy to customize your setup exactly how you want it. The desk I'm setting up today is from Vernal's latest collection, featuring a beautiful solid wood tabletop. For this build, I picked the white frame with a 60x30 solid maple top, and the installation was super smooth. Everything came pre-drilled and aligned perfectly. And with every desk I build, I have to add casters. They make it so much easier to move the desk around when needed. I grabbed these on Amazon. They lock in place, support up to 150 pounds each, and have rubber wheels to protect the floors. Plus, they roll super smooth and stay nice and quiet. And finally, time for the fun part. I'd have to say, I'm pretty happy at how everything turned out so far. The setup is coming together nicely, and I'll do a full breakdown of everything later in the video. But right now, I think it's time to finally swap out the IKEA shelf for something I've been eyeing for months. I've been wanting to add some overhead cabinets to make better use of the vertical space and boost storage. After checking out a bunch of options online, I settled on the IKEA Besta units. The customization options are what make these stand out for me. Plus, their design tool made it easy to visualize the final layout. I arranged for a pickup, loaded everything up, and now it's time to build this thing. Now that the cabinets are in, I knew I wanted to do some kind of accent wall, but instead of going with the usual wood slats like I've done before, I wanted to try something a little different. First, I wanted to integrate the gaming wall lights from Govee, who were kind enough to send these over. They're a little outside of my usual style, but the design was super unique and I decided to give them a shot. And for those who have been following me for a while, you already know Govee is one of my go-to brands for lighting gear. We'll circle back to these lights shortly and I'll showcase their features for anyone unfamiliar with them. Now as for the accent wall, I stumbled across these panels from a company called Wood Arc, and as soon as I saw them, I knew they were exactly what I was looking for. Huge thanks to Wood Arc for sending these over. These panels come in various colors, but I went with the white to keep things feeling open and seamless. Darker tones would have made the room feel smaller, and I definitely wanted to avoid that. Each panel is made of solid wood and weighs around 7 pounds, which made installation a bit tricky. The recommended method was to use adhesive, but I'm not a fan of that since it can seriously mess up the walls if I ever wanted to take them down. The other option was screws, but that would mean drilling a bunch of holes, and I wasn't sure I wanted to go that route either. So the method I went with was using a French cleat. Now, I'm not a pro DIY or anything, and this might not be the best solution for everyone, but for my small space, it works. At first, I thought about connecting all 9 panels together with metal brackets and hanging it as one big piece, but honestly, the weight and size would have made that super hard to install. So instead, I grouped them into sets of 3 vertically and mounted each section separately. I also added a 1x4 to make sure everything stays secure. This method does create a small gap behind the panels, but that doesn't bother me, especially since the IKEA Besta cabinets already have a bit of spacing behind them. Plus, with that space, I was able to avoid cutting around the wall outlet. I'll also be attaching some magnets towards the bottom of each section so they stay in place but can still pop off easily when needed. After a week of steady progress, I'm happy to say the transformation is exactly what I envisioned. Oh, and just a heads up, this light is only on for filming. On a regular day, the space actually looks like this. With just the ambient lighting, the atmosphere is so relaxed. I honestly love hanging out in here. The Govee gaming wall light combined with the Wood Arc panels turned out way better than I expected. And as with every Govee product, you get full control over colors, effects, and tons of presets. And I mean a ton. You can go from pulsing colors that energize the whole room to chill tones that totally relax the mood. One of my favorite features is how the lights react to what is displayed on my monitor using the Govee DreamView app. No extra devices or sensors required. It's kind of wild. As long as the lights are compatible with DreamView, the software handles everything for you. It's super simple, but keep in mind there's a tiny bit of lag when compared to the more responsive HDMI sync box. I honestly don't mind the slight delay. It means fewer cables and gadgets cluttering up the desk. I've also installed the Govee Gaming Light Strip G1 behind the monitor. It's also DreamView compatible and does a great job of bringing out the details in the Wood Arc paneling. And the monitor that I'm using is the Sony InZone M10S, a 27-inch Quad HD OLED display with an insane 480Hz refresh rate. The colors are super vibrant and the picture quality looks incredible. And not to mention, the minimal design looks very sleek, especially with the ultra-thin bezel. I also love the original stand that it came with, but I opted for the human scale monitor arm instead for a cleaner look. I went with the white and polished aluminum version to match the overall aesthetic, and I also upgraded to the USB hub base for added convenience. I used to run a 32-inch non-OLED monitor, and after upgrading to this Sony OLED, it's a complete game changer. Well, not my gaming skills though, I'm still struggling, but hey, at least I can look good doing it. Jokes aside, I'm really loving the 27-inch size, but I'm curious, what's your ideal monitor size? Now let's check out the beautiful new standing desk from Vernal. The maple tabletop feels ultra smooth with a nice subtle sheen to it, and I think it pairs really well with the white frame. Also, you might have noticed that I'm not currently using a desk pad. I just haven't found one I really like yet, and honestly, I'm loving how minimal and clean it looks as is. The keypad has a really clean, low-profile design and supports 4 customizable presets. What's nice is that it doesn't trigger from accidental bumps. You need to apply a bit of pressure for it to respond, which I personally prefer. Vernal's new solid wood collection comes in 3 wood types: maple, cherry, and dark walnut. You can choose between 2 sizes, a 70x30 or 60x30, which is the one I went with. The price varies depending on the wood and size of desk you select. If you prefer a more budget-friendly option, their laminate desks are also really nice, and pricing starts at under $500. And you can also save an additional 6% by using code YTMN at checkout. And make sure to click through the link in the description so it applies correctly. And every desk purchased from Vernal includes a cable cover, a cable management tray, and even a hook for your accessories. The cable management tray can be installed in 2 different positions. I installed it with the logo side facing out to keep the cables and adapters out of sight for a more clean look. Another feature that stands out is the optional built-in drawer. It's technically meant for a keyboard, but it's versatile enough to hold whatever you need. There are even cable cutouts in the back, which is a nice touch. I'm still deciding what I'll use it for, maybe a little charging setup for all of my random gadgets. I also got the matching maple desk shelf, but I didn't install the extra shelf due to the size of this soundbar, which is the Soundblade by Blue Ant. Not everyone's a fan of this speaker, but I've been using it for a while and honestly, I really like it. While it doesn't have punchy bass, it gets plenty loud and keeps the setup looking sleek. Plus, it even comes with the remote. It's perfect for casual gaming and maybe watching some YouTube videos. I also recently got my hands on the Arctis Nova Pro wireless headset by SteelSeries. The dual battery system is a game changer. You get 2 swappable batteries, so when one dies, you just pop the other one in while the dead one charges in the base station. You can also control the volume directly from the base station, and the screen gives you a visual readout even if you're adjusting the sound from the headset itself. I'm not too picky when it comes to audio quality, but honestly, these sound pretty solid so far. And the mic is fully retractable, so when you're not using it, it tucks away seamlessly into the headset. Although I haven't tested the mic yet. When it comes to keyboards, I alternate between a few, but currently I'm using the newly released Ice Ring 65 RT by Dry Studio. It features magnetic switches allowing you to fine-tune the actuation of each key using the software. So basically, you can set the distance a key needs to be pressed down before it is registered by the computer. I left everything on the default settings for now. I'm not really looking to dive into all the adjustments, but it's definitely cool that you can. And you can also customize and store up to 4 different modes, including RGB colors and lighting patterns. This thing looks great on the desk, although I do wish there was a wireless version, but at $129 it's hard to complain. And to the right, we have the Infinity Mouse by Angry Meow. It's got a super unique full metal hollow design, weighs roughly 49 grams, and also has swappable batteries. The batteries are attached via magnets, so it's easy to just pop them out and replace when needed. It's actually more comfortable than I expected, and it's been great for the hero shooters I've been playing. For other games, I switch over to the Mamba 1 controller. It's got a built-in display that lets you tweak settings, swap modes, and even customize the RGB side lighting. It's inspired by the Xbox controller and works with everything from PC and Nintendo Switch to Android and iOS. You can connect via Bluetooth or the included 2.4 dongle, and it even comes with a charging dock. There's a ton more this thing can do, but I'll drop a link below along with everything else mentioned in this video if you want to check it out. To keep my devices charged, I added the Anker MagGo 3-in-1 wireless charging station. I like that it has a round base, giving it a neutral position from any angle. And over here is the NZXT Player 2, a pre-built PC that I got last year. This PC is actually what got me into gaming in the first place. Aside from adding a few fans and bumping the RAM up to 32 gigs, everything else is still stock. The NZXT H6 Flow is a pretty massive case, but I really like its design. It's running an AMD Ryzen 5 7600X and an NVIDIA RTX 4070, and for most games I play, it handles them perfectly fine. It's been super reliable and really quiet too. The only thing I'm considering down the line is upgrading the SSD because the 1TB is filling up pretty fast. Alright, so let's talk about the stool. First off, it just looks amazing. This human scale stool has solid wood legs with a maple finish, a polished frame, and white seats. It seriously fits the whole setup vibe perfectly. Now, it doesn't have a backrest, but honestly, I don't game for more than an hour at a time, and with the built-in footrest, it's still super comfortable. Plus, even with the normal chair, I'm usually leaning forward anyway. Bad habits, I guess. Another reason I went with the stool is because it saves space. I can just tuck it under the desk when I'm done, and as a bonus, it's a little higher up so my son can hop on and play comfortably too. But hey, if I ever get tired of using the stool, I've got a few chairs on standby that I can easily swap in, starting with the Human Scale Freedom, the Steelcase Leap, and of course, the Herman Miller Embody. I like to rotate between them every now and then just to keep things feeling fresh around here. Having 2 separate setups for work and play is definitely something I prefer. Otherwise, I would easily get sidetracked if I had everything on one setup. This home office studio has gone through so many changes throughout the years, but I think this recent refresh is by far my favorite. Well, that's all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.